down. We are back today with another review from RitFit. We have the all-new Gazelle Pro leg press and hack squat machine. So we started out with this 5-6 months ago, and it's been a great machine. I've really liked it, but every critique I had with this thing, they have pretty much fixed with this, and it's been working great. So I'm gonna go over some of the features on it before I show you the exercises you can do. First off, it's noticeably bigger than the other one. This thing is about 7 feet long, so it sticks out. I think that one's about 6 feet. So it sticks out a little further. It's 4 feet wide. And I'm guessing they call it the Gazelle because these look like maybe gazelle horns, I don't know. But that's what I thought of when I saw those, since it's called the Gazelle Pro. The next thing I really like is how they have the weight plate holders. So here, they're on the side post. Compared to this, they're on the ground. So it's a lot harder to take a bunch of plates off this way, especially when you have lots of 45 stacked and you're trying to get your fingers underneath and pull them up, as opposed to being waist level like this. You just pull it off, stick it on here or up here, because this model has 2 separate places to put your weights, which does come in handy. We also have these pegs here on both sides. These are for bands. I don't have any, but you could use them. You hook them on here, from here to here. There's also some more up here. And it's essentially useful if you want to change the tension curve. So if you put them on there, as you go down, it's not as difficult, but as you're pushing back up from the bottom, it's getting harder and harder as you're pushing the weight up. So you're putting more tension on the muscles the further you go through the exercise. Now, the first critique I had on this thing was a range of motion issue that I fixed by putting this behind me when doing the leg press. And then I made this that I would stick on here when doing a hack squat, and this let me get pretty much all the way down on the hack squat. And it's worked fine for me. That's not even a problem now with this. On this machine, I can't even get to the stop on it. So if I'm doing a leg press, like I'm all the way to here, it can go way further, but my legs won't. So, not an issue there. And then added in this little stopper here. So you can have a high stop if you want, lower, depending on what makes you comfortable. Since you do have that bigger range of motion, it comes almost all the way down to the bottom of your legs, the rails. So that's been working out pretty nicely. Another thing is your foot placement. The old one was only about this wide, and a lot of people like to go wider. So you can get all the way out to here. You can be up higher to the top. I prefer kind of a shoulder width stance, toes out a little bit, with heels toward the bottom, and it works out really well. So plenty of space for your feet on this, and it's got a nice grip texture so your feet don't slip. A little hand hold right here is nice for pulling yourself up. It's not necessary, but it's useful. And then another thing, I like to do calves on the leg press machine. On the old one, the weights would come all the way to where you put your feet. I would actually use the carriage itself. I'd lay this down and put my feet on the carriage underneath, but this, you can keep your feet on this and get a full range of motion on these calf raises, which is really nice for this. The other one, I would always have to do my feet about this close, because once I added weight, the weights would be next to my feet. But with the weights all the way back here, it helps out, it's not a problem. So those are 2 of the exercises, and there's 5 that I figured out so far. You can let me know in the comments if you can think of any other exercises. So, setting it up for the hack squat, you just pull the pin, lay this down flat. Just like the other one, got a pin for the headpiece, or the back pad. Stick it up there. And you got your back pad. And something with this that I like, this thing it worked fine, but it had a twist pin you had to move and kind of get it up, and there's multiple points. This thing, this is, the back space is for the leg press, and you can move it, adjust it slightly like that, or you can pull the pin, take this out, and this is where I use it for the hack squat. You move it to this forward pin, stick it back in there for safety. And the same thing, a little bit further down. I don't like doing my hack squats with it this much parallel, so I move this down a little bit so my feet, instead of straight or this way just a little bit, and it makes it more comfortable for my knees. But then when you get on here, I like to put my feet towards the end here, But the same thing with the foot pad. The other one was only about this wide. This one you can get your feet out even further because this foot pad is so wide, the same type of grip. But when you get comfortable, you do your hack squat. So here, I'm a little bit below parallel. The other one I would stop right about here. So that's a significant amount of travel, extra travel you get on this thing. You got your hack squat there. So that works really nicely. Nice and smooth. So there was something the company told me that they heard a few people say that they heard some noises from it. I'm not sure what kind of noises these were. I did hear a squeak at one point from it. On this old system, it's pretty much a sleeve with a bunch of bearings inside it. It worked fine. It was actually kind of loud because there's so many bearings rolling. But with this, we just got the rail and these rollers on it, and it actually makes it really smooth. I didn't hear any noises except at one time. So I loaded up with 320 pounds, didn't hear anything doing the leg press. Then I was taking some of the weight off to do some more because I couldn't get as many reps as I wanted. And I took a plate off one side but not off the other, so it wasn't even. And then I heard a squeak, like a pretty loud squeaking noise. I'll overlay that for you to hear. And when I took the weight off the other side, it went away. I heard a noise, but I think it's because I forgot to take the weight off one side and it wasn't balanced. I'm about to find out.
Like a screeching noise?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was just a balancing issue. If you don't have even distribution set up on the machine. But they did tell me that they have a new type of wheel that they can put on it. If you buy the product now, it's gonna ship with the new wheels. And if anybody does have that issue, to contact their after sales team and they will send you the new wheels, so that won't be a problem. But it's a really simple one to put together. This took us like an hour and a half total to put together. Compared to this, it was a little bit more in depth. I really like the way that they package their stuff. I've had companies where the packaging comes and you open the box and hardware falls out everywhere. But this, everything's packaged really nicely. Everything's labeled. You pop it out of its part in the plastic and get the pieces you need, and the book lays everything out really nicely for you. So the directions are really easy to follow for this machine. Now, we have this Gazelle part, that's what I'm calling it because it makes me think of the Gazelle, for the fourth exercise, which it's not something I'm a fan of. I see people do it in the gym, but I just don't really like it. I'll let you know why in a minute. But you get on it this way and put your shoulders against it, so now you can do your squat this way. But as you know, I say I like to get a full range of motion, and you can see from this, that's like barely halfway down. So I'm not a big fan of that. Maybe if you don't want as far of a range of motion, but one of the reasons I don't like that is because part of the reason I want this machine, I have some lower back issues, and I like my back being planted flat on this so it's not moving, it stays straight, or when I'm in the seated position on the bottom, I'm locked into place. Whereas when you get like this on the machine and you're pushing, you could start rounding your back or getting weird angles and putting more pressure on your lower back, which is something I want to avoid. That's why I like using it. But what I do like these for is for doing another type of calf raise. So I just get on it like this with the calves at the back. Same thing, do a calf raise this way. And the reason I like using it for that is because on my other machine, I could do that same type of movement, but my face, my mouth would be pushing against this. It's pretty uncomfortable, but since these stick out so far, they're comfortable against your shoulders, and my face is like this far off the mat. So it works out a whole lot better. They also come with a bunch of safeties to put on here. I guess they have to do that just so they don't get in trouble, but I don't use these for machines like this because the weights aren't going anywhere. You're on a track. So I just use hangers up there in case I want to use them for something else. But this overall is a great improvement over this. It is bigger, so be aware of that if you don't have a lot of space. This is still a good machine, especially with those little hacks I did with getting a better range of motion, but this pretty much fixes that problem. So you get this thing all in one, you're good to go. I'll have links in the description so you can check that out. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll try to help you out where I can there. I think it's a 1,300 pound total dynamic capacity. It says 2,000 total, so I guess if you've got weights on the plate holders plus weights on the machine, just be aware of that. I have been using these Flex bumper plates they sent as well, and they've been working great. Like, they have just as much bounce as these Rogue weights I've been using. I'm gonna be making a review on them soon as well, but they're cheaper than those and they're more accurate as I weighed them all than those Rogue ones. So that's always a bonus. I used to always want to get the name brand stuff that I know well, but weights, they're just designed to be heavy, and if they're accurate, then you're good to go, especially if they're the same good bounce. But hit that like button if you like this video, and make sure you subscribe because we're gonna be announcing soon a giveaway of one of these, as well as one of these, as well as one of the leg curl machines that we have a video on that I'll link as well for you. If you get this thing along with the leg curl, leg extension machine, you can have everything you need for a really good leg workout. You don't even have to do squats. I'm gonna lay off squats for a while because my lower back's been hurting, and just stick with this hack squat, leg press, lots of calf raises, leg extension, leg curl. The machines are working great. So again, let me know if you have any comments, and I will see y'all in the next one.